Hey there, Christoph here. I tried to spend a little bit of time fleshing out another challenge here in Saving Satoshi. I'll try to go through it, and I consider this very rough, so I'm just looking for feedback before moving forward with anything else. So in, let's see, lesson 2, we learned about what an hash is, how to find hashes that start with zeros, write a script that does that, and then write a script that finds hashes with harder and harder difficulty. Now the next challenge here, and there's just a little bit of text, so I tried to extract as much as I could from this. It's about the play with friends, which is fairly complex, and then we're getting attacked by this country, a mistress that's trying to take over the Bitcoin network. We have 51% attack. And then the challenge after that is that, an enemy is in your midst. There's somebody who pretends to participate in our mining activity, and then we're introducing shares. So here's kind of what I came up with, and some of this might be totally wrong, so just let me know. And just as a heads up, a lot of the text in here is totally wrong, just placeholders. So basically we have an intro screen, and then we need to get the user's profile set up so that they can share that with other people and invite them and others can join. So I'm pressing a button and it could generate some avatar for me. This is from Alexa. Alexa's avatar set of 84. Maybe we can create our own. Maybe there's some way to auto-generate those. I don't know. But basically I now have some unique ID. And maybe we need to explain this further, not quite sure. But basically, I'm creating some unique profile. Then we're going to start mining. So, it says here starting with non-zero and hash power. And then it tells me how much hash power I have. And then it needs to explain that we're going to hash 1,000 blocks now and see how it goes. I start. And then it just kind of runs through. This is mostly to make me familiar with how this whole thing works. So here, there's this bar. It says blocks found, 7 out of 1,000. And it just kind of keeps going through all these nonces. When it founds one that's good, then it will be green here. And then, we just kind of, and this bar fills up, meaning that I found all of the blocks. Very, very simple so far. Okay. Halfway done, and then, okay, cool. So next thing is, okay, now we're getting attacked. So I'm not mining solo now anymore, which would be weird anyways. But we now have this country of Amestris, and it has a hash power of 1,000,000. I only have 1,000. So, well, let's see how we do in this battle. So now we see my own mine and Amestris next to each other. And I can kind of see how they rattle through these nonces with their varying amounts of hash power, and how Amestris finds way more blocks. It's also shown up here. So here we have 461 blocks found, and Amestris is clearly, has the majority. And once it's at 1,000, once you've reached all of the blocks, then there's kind of this evaluation that says, okay, cool, Amestris has won. They dominate the network, basically. I don't know if that's super accurate, but that's kind of where I am right now. Okay, so Amestris has taken over Bitcoin. We've lost, right? Okay, but what can we do about this? So we can invite friends. So here's a set of 4, and there's me, and there's 3 placeholders, and I can either invite a friend, and then there would need to be some mechanism where I can share my ID by message, mail, I don't know. Inviting a stranger. There are 3 other people using this application right now that are online. And then I press, they would get some type of modal that says, hey, so-and-so is inviting you to join their mining operation. Do you want to join? Yes. And then they would show up here. Or I can invite a robot. So that would be a CPU. So in this case, I've invited here 1 friend and 2 robots, and they also have auto-generated avatars and IDs. And now we can use our time machine to go back in time and redo the battle against Amestris. So here we are. Now we're all next to each other here, and we can kind of see how we do. Now let's see. We're still going to lose. because what happens is I think that here, this robot here has the highest hash rate. We're all going through all the same nonsense. So pretty much this one's going to find all the blocks. So still not working out. So then another defeat, right? So something's not quite working. We need to organize better. And then we can adjust the starting nonces so we don't all kind of try to search the same or try out the exact same things. So I don't know if maybe the user has to manually type them in, not quite sure. And then we can just try it again. Okay, and this time it works out well. We did it. As you can see here, 1,000 blocks were mined, and Amistress has still a good amount, but they have less than 51%. And the individual blocks here for individual people, you can see some of us mined more, some of us mined less based on our hash rate. Okay, cool. But then let's move to the next ones. We've defeated the enemy, but we're also realizing that there's something still not quite right yet, because some of them contribute more, some of them contribute less, but we kind of want to evenly split up the rewards that we got, but we don't really know how to do that. So that introduces this mechanism now, and I don't know if as a user there's something you can do here really, or if we just kind of take you to the next one. And that's when we need to explain to people that there are these partial solutions also count for something, basically an indication of how much effort. So if I found only 5 hashes that start with 0, then I put in less effort than if I found 50 hashes that start with a 0. And if I found hashes that start with 5 zeros, I put in more effort. So we're mining another blocks here, another 1,000 blocks, and we rattle through this whole thing, and at the end we have this counter here now that counts the partial solutions found. And then at the end we look at the user's own stats. So it says like, here's kind of how you personally did, and then it needs to say how many partial solutions we found. And there need to be some type of points. Let's say each block you found gets you 1,000 points. Each hash you found that starts with 1 0 gets you 1 point, with 2 zeros gets you 10 points, and then your total points. And then we can compare our points across the whole team, and we can see what percentage they got, and maybe there needs to be another bar down here that says, indicates how many Bitcoin now every single one of these gets. And then that's it, I think, at least. So yeah, it started with with this here. Try to turn this into an experience. There are lots of screens here. Main thing is that user kind of get taken through this whole thing one by one. I had no idea what shares were before, so I learned a bit about this stuff. Some of it is not right, I'm sure, but I would love to get your feedback on this right now. Also try to take this other one here, this other lesson that's about investigating transactions. So, here you need to go to an explorer, look at block 0 and paste the script sig that you dug up over there. Then you need to run it with this code to decrypt it. Then you need to find the OP return. So this is more about, it takes you to another website where you need to find certain information. Then you need to bring it in and paste it in. And ideally you learn something along the way. Another message here. And there's a part here at the bottom. Sam, write your own secret message, create raw TX to broadcast. I have not the slightest clue how to visualize this one or what's even involved here. I would need a bunch more help here. But anyways, hope that is helpful. This is, like I said, this is kind of rough. There's, of course, the logical stuff to figure out, that this is kind of a nice learning experience where people learn things one by one. There's kind of the storyline to figure out. And then this design probably also needs a lot of iteration and improvement until it's all really, really well refined and polished. But here we are. It's hopefully a step forward. So let me know. Thanks.